Hi, I'm Dr. Nicole.
This is Coach Cofia.
And Dion. Welcome to Opportunities Over Obstacles,
The podcast where we discuss lessons in motherhood,
Life and business.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, what's up? Oh, I like the setup here.
Trying something
Switch it
new.
up.
Trying something
Yes,
new.
I love it.
Shimmy.
You bring in the Supremes. You remember the Supreme? My mom and them used to listen to Diana Ross and the Supremes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Oh,
the girl
okay.
groups. They had so much grace and cohesion, and they used to get trained, like, because they didn't all start off so polished. They had to be trained, and they stuck with it.
Where's the training at today?
I was going to say that's another topic.
There is.
We were called
I'm scared.
No, it's so funny you brought that up. Someone wanted our chapter of my sorority to come in and do some sort of like etiquette training.
That's nice.
Because at this school,
for a school,
it's a school. It's like a mentorship program that they have at the school for young ladies. But the person that heads up the program said they were seeing so many like bonnets at school and
Lord,
inappropriate attire. I was like, Lord,
like the pajamas.
Yeah.
I judge bonnets. I judge you if you come outside with a bonnet on. I definitely look at you like I would never work with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to come out with your head covered, Exhibit A, this is how you come out with your head covered.
Okay.
Not the same thing you sleep in. Okay.
It's not. I didn't sleep in this.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
This is simply for the style, and it matches my dress.
And there's so many options. That's what I don't understand. It's like y'all got options.
It's just laziness. I shouldn't. Lazy is a judgment. It's a lack of effort for whatever reason. Whether I look at it like you must be depressed, like you're not putting effort into. They even putting them on the babies. They got the babies wearing bonnets.
Well, my babies wore them, but
outside.
Outside?
No, not outside.
No, that's what I mean. We don't know what you're doing in your house, but
right. I could not come to the door. I remember coming to the door on a Saturday morning, and my mom was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm getting something on the porch," and she was like, "Get back inside."
There are guys with bonnets.
I remember that.
Yes, the men are
outside. I'm like, what is this world coming to?
And it's just it's their norm. So we talked. I know in the last episode we talked about generations, but like for us, it's not a norm. I don't know.
What? Yeah. What were the things that the elder generation looked down at us for? They were just like, I can't believe y'all did
coming to church without hosiery, not wearing a slip.
Okay.
I had someone judge me. I don't know if he was an elder, but he was like, "You wearing red nail polish?" I was like 13. He was like,
"What? Why is he into your nail polish?"
It was an observation. He was right. He's like, red nail polish is for a certain type of girls, and that's the nice way. I'm paraphrasing. He did not say it nearly as nice as that. Mm-hmm. He was like, red is for whores. Like that was I was like. I just painted my nails. I don't know how we got here, but yeah.
It's just crazy. But there's always every generation, because there's always different types of people within a generation. So back in the day, my mom was like, so not everybody that's young wears bonnets. There's people that are like, they're not doing it. And my mom said back then it was wearing curlers in your hair.
Mm-hmm.
There was ignorant people that used to do that. And then there was her grandmom and mom and them were like, don't you like you go into this corner store with a bathrobe and rollers in your hair? Like
And slippers. I'm like, what?
and they used to do that back then, but there was always people, there's always been different types of people and how they socialize.
That's true. So I'm gonna take back those words. I should not have just said it's the younger generation because I feel like even within our
It's the
generation, there are
old,
still people
yes.
that,
No, they got
yeah.
some boomers walking. A lot of these old folks are
Hmm.
wearing bonnets, and I don't know what is going on.
And that's why we
Why?
see certain younger people wearing bonnets. Like it's their nanas.
It's their people. Their
You're right.
Yes,
Their
people. It's
people.
it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
my mama did
Yeah.
it, my grandma did it, I did it, my uncle them did it.
Yeah,
Stop
exactly.
it.
So, but look at
Stop.
Madam C.J. Walker. Like, I feel like when I was reading her story, part of what she was doing was teaching pride. Like, it wasn't just about a perm or whatever. It was about like, this is how you care for your hair. Because a lot of the people coming out of sharecropping and stuff, they didn't have that chance, you
Yeah.
know. So she was teaching pride, and I'm like, now we're gonna go backwards and put these bonnets. And honest to God, 90% of them are not protecting a beautiful style.
And
You're
then the
just throwing
airports
something
with
on your,
them.
yes,
You're covering up the stuff that you did not take care of. That's what you're
you
doing.
didn't. Oh my, how
Lord.
did we get here? Looks.
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
This is not
You're
what the
admiring
topic.
Cofia's look. That's how we got here.
Yes,
This
yes.
is not the topic. Oh man, but this is obviously something that's passionate to us.
Remember when Monique, look, we might get canceled because she was the one that was just like going to the airport. And I saw it when we went to Miami, Vegas. It's certain hubs where the
Hmm.
people wear pajamas to the airport. And
Why?
I don't get it. They,
Even
but
in
she
college,
talked about
people
it.
wore
Yeah.
pajamas to the cafeteria, and a group of us were like, "Ill, you rolled out of bed." Like, I
At
don't
least
understand.
pretend like you wash your
My
body.
bedroom attire, you will not
Yes.
see out of. I don't even. I don't really come downstairs without regular clothes on. I mean, sometimes I do if I have to like come down real quick and I get my robe on
Dion
or
be
something.
making her
But
entrance like looking
yeah,
nice.
I'm sorry. There's something stuck with me. I mean,
Huh.
Yes. And that's what my
mm-mm.
husband tells my daughter, like both of them, but especially the older one, like you you put something on your bottom. You're if you sleep in a short nightgown, when you come out your room, you put on the
Yes.
pants or something. It's just respect. It's self-respect. But
Mm-mm.
look,
Child, I gotta teach these kids why. I don't care if your room is right next to the bathroom. Put on your bathrobe. Like I
yes,
don't. We don't need to see that. When they were little,
look,
like they're 3 years apart, so they were like, 1 and 4. Okay, but now that we're older, I'm like, all right, boys and girls. I really,
Boys
children.
and girls.
my 11-year-old son, sir, I really don't want to see all that you got going on. Like, do you see?
We
And I
Wow.
gotta
asked him, I'm like,
gotta
do you
teach
see
them.
mom? Yeah, I'm like, do you see your mother's parts? Like, no. So he's like, well, I'm just gonna wrap this around. He'll take his pants and wrap it around his waist. I'm like, get your robe. You have a robe.
Yes. But a lot of people weren't taught those things. So it's
Yeah.
so good because that's what people say when you tell them, they say, well, I was never taught.
Hmm.
So,
Mhm. There's some
that's what
things that
everybody
we,
always says. Hmm.
This is
but
the
just because
training
you,
ground. That's what I call it.
yeah, but I think it's like,
That's
how long are we going to use that as a reason for not doing stuff because we didn't learn?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know.
maybe.
That's another one of my issues. But yeah.
I was
Maybe they
never taught.
figure I'm 40 years old and I've been doing this. This has been my norm for all these years. I'm not saying that
Hmm.
I don't think that's an excuse, but maybe people are just like, well, why?
There's no standard.
If this is
Oh,
what my
sorry.
Yes.
nana and aunties and them did, and my mom and my sisters, and I've been doing it, then why change? I don't see the problem. And I think
And
that's
they
why
should
Monique
do
for
it.
that backlash.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
they should do it knowing that there's a certain outcome. I think that's your point too. Like everything in life has an outcome. So if you want to wear pajamas, bonnets, bathrobes, great, do it. Just understand it's a not, if you get the outcome you don't want, it's because of your behavior. So you're not going to get the kind of man you want. You're not going to get the kind of job you want. You're not going to get the kind of respect that you want because you're walking around in pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, do you? And that's what Madam C.J. Walker, when I was reading, she even took etiquette classes and things herself to learn how to present herself better because she knew she wanted a different outcome.
Mm-hmm.
But people will fight you to have the right to, I guess, be mediocre.
That's what it is.
There's that Nikki coming out.
And they label it being authentic. I'm just being authentic. No, you just lack
You're being authentically ignorant. Is what you authentically ratchet, authentically nasty, authentic like.
So you guys know where we stand on this.
They've taken that word and it's just like, I'm authentic. I'm just being real. It's just like, that's no, it doesn't end there.
I got it. There's a LinkedIn post I got to send you. I didn't see the whole thing, Dion, but it was about somebody. They were like, why do I dress like this? And the person said, my authenticity is non-negotiable. I have to read into it, but I was thinking that you would be interested. Yeah. When I find it, I'll send it.
Tag me in that. Send that to me. All right.
So what are we talking about?
And I don't even know what we're supposed to be.
We're talking about when.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, look, when to quit being ignorant. That's what you.
How to bring awareness to your ignorance. How to raise your standard. That's what it is. You have to raise your standard. I think we originally was going to talk about when to quit, but I think when to quit being who you are. Like, when can you quit being who you are and embrace someone else? Like,
embrace a better version of yourself.
That's ultimately what it is. This is just who I am. Okay. Is that version of you serving you?
Yes.
Is it getting you the life that you desire? And if you think about in your future, is that going to get you the life you want going forward?
But what if some people don't even have a vision of what a life could look like you said, your nana did it, your mama did it, your aunties did it.
That is the differentiator. Like, I'm just here. I don't know. I'm just kind of existing. I'm just flailing around. And I feel like people, so speaking of mediocre, like people are okay with that. Unfortunately.
But I feel like it's crazy because I have learned so much being involved in real estate and property management and things like that, to where it gave me an education about people's behaviors. And you will see people do things and have excuses. But like, I saw a lady you'll see people with little babies and kids listening to like curses and like vulgar stuff and dancing with them. And you're thinking to yourself, but how is this good for the baby? But they don't know any better. But then, like you said, Cofia, how long is it going to? But I see this repeatedly, like people just repeating patterns, generational patterns. But then how do they get the awareness or the courage to do it differently?
I think that's maybe where the harder people, when they speak about certain things, I think that's what causes them to maybe shake out of it. Right? I think the people who have the stages and the mics, I feel like that's some of the stuff that we need to talk about. Like, that's some of the stuff that we need to speak on to shake them out of like the matrix. Like, what is it going to take for somebody to, like, I think it takes somebody's toes getting stepped on for them to realize that this is not the best option. Whether that's they go to jail, they get in trouble, they get their heart broken, somebody hurts their feelings. But I think there's a level of pain and discomfort that causes people to reassess.
And we can't be afraid to do it.
Yeah. Well, that, and I think if we realize, I mean, as we're talking this out, it's like, I think if we realize what it took for us, there has to be a level of discomfort. And I think the pain is going to differ, right? The level of pain that's required for somebody to shift is going to differ. And I think it's just a matter of like, for me, being okay with providing that level of discomfort or providing that level of pain in hopes that that's minor compared to what it may have taken in their own life for them to reevaluate.
Which is like
Like,
real negative
right,
consequences that they
right.
could have had.
Can my words impact you in a way that makes you uncomfortable? Not like in a mean girl way, but
Yeah.
can I hold up a mirror for you and show you all the consequences of your inaction? Can that be enough discomfort instead of you having to go throughout your whole life and regret time that you wasted because nobody else was courageous enough to do it?
Whew, Cofia, you stepping on my toes because I was just thinking about the other day, like it's crazy. I was thinking that I have started to feel exhausted trying to convince people of alternative way, like of their value, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak.
Mm.
And I don't know why this came up for me. And again, that's I need to shift my mindset, but I just started feeling a bit exhausted of like saying things or, cheerleading or even trying to prod someone or tell it to them straight. And like seeing, I know that behavior change takes more than that, but I started saying like, I don't want to do this anymore. If you want to come to me and get what you need, but I don't know even what that looks like. But it's funny that you say that, like keep, and you've said that, we've said that before, keeping up the courage to keep with the message,
Mm-hmm.
even if it feels like the message is getting rejected.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think a big part of that though is, I don't know. I think you're an empath, right? And that's not a bad thing, but I
That's
think,
what it is.
yeah. So with that comes this feeling of like, oh, I have to, like, we feel a burden for people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you guys already know what I share as far as my business.
Mm.
And we have to be okay with it not looking a certain way. That doesn't mean you don't stick to your message, but you
Mm-hmm.
really have to disconnect a little bit, right?
Yes.
You are sharing the message because that's, especially if that's what you're feeling called to do, but you're not responsible for what each
The
individual who's
recipients.
right. Like that's not you. Like, so again, it's about more so focusing like what's within my control.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So I sense that's what that could be.
I am truly an empath, and
Mhm.
it's heartbreaking
Yep.
to see like remember you said your husband can't watch certain things, like it's heartbreaking to watch a train about to crash into something and you're just standing on the sidelines like,
Yep.
and you could turn around and walk and you could, yeah. But it is literally heartbreaking because the other part is that same person after they crash will come back
Yeah.
seeking. So that's where you said the disconnect too. Like, well,
Mm-hmm.
can't really do anything right now for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah. I think,
not to,
yeah.
right? Not to say to be cruel, but
No,
I,
yeah. I think it's a matter of like when you say disconnect, I think you disconnect from that person's choices, and you got to know when to engage, and then you reconnect to deliver your message so that your message resonates, but you disconnect from their choices and their decisions.
yes.
Like,
mm-hmm.
I think it gets overwhelming when you go into it kind of thinking that you can
Like
change
you're
something.
coming
Like,
Yes.
you
into it with the cape.
ultimately, like, you cannot change whether they receive it or not. That's not even your job. Like, that is not even, I would even take away that that's even the goal. I think the goal is to be who you've been called to be by delivering the message. Like, you were just designed to be the messenger. Everything else is their thing. And when you disconnect from the result, it allows you to continue to just show up, because you're not showing up because you think you can save them. Like, because you
Yeah.
can't, like, you're not going
No.
into it with any, like, it's not me.
Expectation, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You remove the
Mm-hmm.
expectation of them making any adjustments. Now they can take it or leave it. It's almost like you know, whether it's criticism or praise, it doesn't waver, like it doesn't shift you. Like you can't let somebody's criticism take you down, but you can't let their praise take you up. It's almost
Mm-hmm.
that type of mentality when we are the spokesperson. Like we can't let our criticism or our praise, like we can't think it's going to be
Alter the
influential.
message.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's It's just about getting the information, sharing the message, because ultimately it's a relief for you because you know it, and so you share it, and it's still on them whether they take it and use it or
Mm-hmm.
not. And if they don't, then they don't. That's a part of their
Another
journey.
turn.
And
Yeah,
the fact
that is
is,
so true. Yes.
yeah. So Nicole, I can totally relate, especially with, people in my inboxes, or I see people on social media. I
Yes, the
just like
inboxes.
you. It's like literally, it's 4 years later. Oh, girl, I just saw a post recently, and I was like, you and I had a conversation. Like I could have helped you get to this place. I mean, finally she got a breakthrough, but like you went through all that unnecessarily, and it was just like I feel like we can't want the result or the breakthrough for them more than they do. So sometimes it takes life smacking them in the back of the head for 4 years before they're like, oh, like so again, like Cofia said, we're not responsible for whether or not they receive it. The other thing is that like we are planting seeds. So sometimes the goal, whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish, isn't going to happen right away. And we have to be
Yeah,
okay with that
yeah.
too. And so what feels, especially in business, what can feel like a lull really is just, and that's why it's so,
It's the
I feel
heart,
like
it's the
it's,
sewing. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's the sewing, it's the being consistent. It's even when it feels like nobody's listening, nobody's buying, booking a call, like whatever. Like, and I've had people tell me like, "Oh my gosh, your content is so like so." I wouldn't know from looking at my feed because I'm like, you never comment on anything,
I didn't even
But
know you knew me.
right, but like I see the people like on my email list, I see the people who are like opening and clicking, and I can sense, you can just tell just from looking at a sheer data perspective,
Mm-hmm.
you can tell who you're really impacting.
Touching.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and right, and it's not always like the loudest people, right, or the people in our DM. So,
Yeah.
But what I've
yeah.
realized is I have had to honor, and I totally agree with those things, right? Like just working on disconnecting from other people's choices. But I have had to come to terms with like the self care I need, even to keep professing the message, because
Mhm.
it takes work, and it's almost
Mm-hmm.
like you're on a stage with a light on you, and you can't see. You know how when there's
Mm.
a spotlight on you, you can't see out, you just see the light on you. You don't get any feedback, and that in itself can be draining. So I've learned for me, like the self-care that I need to be able to just keep doing, it's energy. Like for me, I'm very
Mm-hmm.
energetic, so even to speak a message that might step on somebody's toes, it's energetics for me because it's easier to not speak it. So it's like continuing to know when I need to, like what my self care looks like. And for
Yeah.
me, sometimes the self care is, yeah, I think it is like what you guys said, like finding the joy in it, doing it, or something that's like has another reward outside
Mm-hmm.
of,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like more of an internal reward. Like I just love talking about this, or I have to like
Yeah.
reconnect to
Hmm.
that joyful part of it.
Right. And
Yeah.
I've
'Cause-
learned to become more in tune with resting and not quitting. Like if I want to take a
Oh, I
break,
love that.
I'm gonna take a break. That doesn't mean like I have certain things on autopilot, right? So that's what that's for. Like I
That's
don't
gonna
have to
keep.
be on 10 all the time. So I think, the exhausting piece, I definitely like can relate to that because it can be a lot. Because you feel
Resting,
like
not quitting.
I'm
I like
showing up,
that.
even if you love the thing, like we're human. So take a break. It's okay to take a break. And I think that helps in terms of our message, it helps reinforce to people that like we're human too. Like
Mm.
you don't have to be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, and I get tired too. So yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. RNQ. You know, I like to do my little, so resting, not quitting. Okay.
Resting, not
Mm-hmm.
quitting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's what
Yeah.
we're talking about. Quitting, when to quit. Wow, that's deep. You brought it back around. When to quit and when to persevere. Or what does it look like?
Didn't realize I did that.
Because maybe we think about it as so black or white, like either you're quitting or you're persevering.
Hmm.
But
Or you might be shifting, right? Again, not being attached to, so like, well, it's been this way for 10 years and it
mm-hmm.
has to be this way. No, you can evolve. So, yeah. Ooh, kind of preaching to myself there. All
And
right. It's like,
we
ooh,
stepping
that
on
just,
our own toes.
I need to hear that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
then how do you know though? Because
Lots of prayer for me. I think because I'm so used to being consistent and I've worn that as a badge of honor, it takes me a little bit longer because I'm like, I've been doing this for a long time. But like it's like this realization that like I haven't really gotten this result. Sorry, God. Like, what do you want me to do? Is there something that you're trying to get my attention on? So for me, it's being very in tune with like what is like His plan for my life or for my business. Like what does this look like? What do you want me to do? Because again, we have plans, and then He's like, that's cute, that's nice, but no, this is what I
mm,
want you to do. So sometimes it's just taking a step back and sitting still, being still.
mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm,
think it's
Yeah.
I think it's about being in, like, it's almost like how you are in tune with, um like I'm getting this level of just being in tune with my body and being guided by what my body needs and just flowing with that, and not necessarily setting out to say like this is what we're going to do, but I'm more so like I have a plan, of like where I'd like to go, but I'm willing to adjust my daily things based on how I'm feeling, to not push myself in one direction or another, right? To not get exhausted. And I think it goes like that with anything. It's just being more guided internally than guided externally. And so being more guided by, okay, what do I feel like I am supposed to be doing, even though it may not look like what I thought it should, and being willing to let go of that. Well, they say this is what you need to do on social media. They say this is what you need to do for
do
your
this three
business. They
times a
say
week, and
that this is what you need to do. And it's like,
Mm,
okay, but what if, like, can I just follow what is good for me? Like, can I be okay with that and trusting that, for me, that the God on the inside of me is guiding me and leading me to where I need to go? Can I be in a sense of like flow and just going through life and enjoying it, and don't have to be so rigid in the controlling piece of like, this is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Like, it's almost like getting to a place where I don't have this, like, yes, use
strict.
structure,
Mm-hmm,
right, but like it's not so strict, it's not so,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
yeah. And so
Like you
just,
said, rigid. Basically,
yeah.
it's
that's
not
yeah,
rigid.
yeah.
I'm okay. Like, I'm okay regardless. I'm okay with whatever. Like, it's okay, because ultimately, like, I can only control the things that I can control.
Yeah. Going
That
down
is
that
so true.
algorithm hole, child. I can't. I cannot.
And you know what's crazy? We were watching is this show that my husband and I watch. Prison Break is one of these shows. It's like 24, like it's nonstop action. But there's an actor in there that is so good. We
You and
got
hubby
so into
watch the
his
same
character.
shows.
He watches it. Or ask him
Y'all
about
watch the exact
T-Bag.
same programs.
Ask him about Bagwell, and the character is T-Bag. This
Oh my
actor is
gosh.
amazing. So you know me, I'm so curious whenever I love something. So I start looking up the actor. And it said, and this show ran for like 12 seasons. He's a major part of the show. Right before he got the part, he was about to quit acting and be a park ranger or something to support his family because
Wow.
he was not getting any hit, like I guess he was doing auditions and stuff. And like literally, I love a good story. So literally right before he got called for this part, and in this part led to so many other, like this actor is amazing. So I
Mm.
was like, wow, I love that he was thinking of other options. You got to take care of your family, but there was still that part that like he didn't quit on that because he knew
Mm-hmm.
his gift. I'm glad he didn't quit because a good actor, I feel, is a gift. Like the way they just portray the character, the different nuances. And I'm like, I'm glad that there was part of him, like he had different options, but he still kept the acting on the table. And it was so inspirational to me. And I was
Wow.
telling my husband, like, look, T-Bag almost quit before he got this part. He was
And
going to be a park ranger.
that's crazy. And I think with the perseverance, sometimes it's not, and I'm speaking from my
Yeah.
experience, right? Sometimes it's just not being all in on that thing, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of being postured and attracting and not being overly zealous about the thing. Like it's one thing to be passionate, but then like to go like all
Like you
in
don't see
all the
anything else.
right. And then what I found with that, it takes the like it becomes more work. It doesn't feel joyful anymore. So maybe that was something that he,
Mm-hmm. Kind of
like
brought it down a little bit
yeah, like bring it down a
to,
little bit, like loosen your grip, your knuckles are hurting, like it's okay, relax. Like sometimes that
Yeah.
kind of posture really helps us to, move into a better space, whatever that thing is that we're pursuing,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
Mm.
I had to get into my gardening this summer. Like anything that it was just so present focused, so relaxing, so stimulating, but relaxing. And there were times when I could have been on my computer or whatever. And I'm like, I'm going to my garden. Like, screw this. I didn't even think of it like that deep, but I was just like, I'm going to my garden. I don't feel like getting on no computer. And I feel like it kind of gave me when you say rest,
Yeah.
that like the rest and enjoyment that
Mm-hmm.
I really needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Hmm.
So interesting. So Dr. Nicole, let's apply this when to quit, when to persevere to relationships, because that was something that we talked about too. So what are you seeing?
People
Well,
quit too much on marriage. Marriage is a
mm,
commitment, and people don't have commitment. I'm again, of course, I'm generalizing, but imagine if we quit on our marriage every time somebody got on our nerves, or we felt hopeless, or we felt
mm,
disparaged about it.
mm-hmm.
Like, and there's times, and you do have to know when to quit. Like if both people aren't willing, although
Yeah.
sometimes it varies, like you're not always going to be at the same level. But I think in general, societally,
Mm,
there isn't encouragement to stick with the commitment.
mm,
Hmm. Yeah, I can see
yeah.
that. I can see that. And I think it goes back to what you were saying about, or what we were just been talking about as it relates to shifting our grip, and our focus on trying to make it's almost like when you try to make something work so much, like that's you got the wrong perspective. It's like ease up a bit. Don't get
Yeah.
a divorce, but like maybe shift the focus from trying to make it work to like what can I get back to that I enjoy about this person? What can I get back to that I enjoy about our time together? Or what can I like for me the first thing that comes to mind is like whenever I'm going after something with like grit and force and intensity, for me, I have learned that I am to go after God with that same sense of zeal and trust that because there's like a scripture that says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, everything else will
Mm-hmm.
be added unto you. So for me, it's like anytime I get too focused on seeking
Mm-hmm.
something else, it's like I can redirect now and seek God first and make him be like my ultimate priority. And from me seeking him, it's almost like he gives me the tools that I need to make everything else work, and all the other stuff just
It
kind of
all
comes
falls in
to me.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think as it relates to relationship, it's like stop whatever your focus is. You're trying to fix your marriage when you really need to be fixing whatever the connection is that you have with God that guides you, or with whatever that internal compass is. And from that internal compass and focusing on that, like you'll be able to see these other things clearly, your marriage, your husband, or whatever. So
That's good.
Yeah, that's true. And
Yeah.
you have to look at it, it's a marathon. Just
mhm.
Michelle Obama said there was 10 years she
Mhm.
didn't like her husband, and
I
everybody
saw that clip and I was like, oh, oh,
until
yeah,
she took
yeah.
ownership of her own expectations that he would be the source of her happiness. And then
Hmm.
she reshifted it. But imagine if she would have quit on it, and not that everything is about being the first lady, but like they seem to really be in a place of enjoying themselves.
Mhm.
You know, the nation benefited from them as a family. And she just kind of like, yeah, stop trying to make it work so hard on it. I think that's a great metaphor. When you're
Yeah.
working so hard, just relax. You
Hmm.
could
Mhm.
still, you could divorce that person in your head. Just don't go to the lawyer. In your mind, say, you know what, I'm gonna leave him. And if he, and I'm
Yeah.
sick of
Oh my
this. Like you
gosh.
might need that outlet, right? That
Yeah.
fantasy of like what you're gonna do, and then get it out your system and just chill for a minute. Just take a break. Stop trying to make it better. Stop trying to talk all the time and work it out. Like just do what you got. Like just still be together, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Knowing that it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like the way we just I don't know. The way we discard things is a bit, and I think I'm more, that's just my, I'm sure it's my own childhood issues. Like what's worth fighting for? That's sometimes what I want to know. Like, do we still have things that are worth fighting for that aren't the shiny, exciting type of object? And what gets lost when we don't fight for something?
Hmm.
Mhm.
I think that's the appeal for a lot of people. I know we were talking about social
Mm,
media earlier. Like people, no one wants to deal with the behind the scenes stuff. We all see the highlight reels of relationships, but it's like,
mm,
truth be told, it's probably a little more down times than,
yeah.
good times
Or boring times.
or boring times or
Yeah.
times where it's just like, I don't like you. Like, I love you, but I don't like,
Hmm.
so like, I feel like maybe people, influencers, whoever, should maybe share the not so great times. And I think it sets up just unrealistic expectations for people. Um, and the other thing you mentioned about it being a marathon and not a sprint. I never forget someone told me in my bridal shower, she was like, it's never going to be 50-50, right? Like people say marriage is 50-50. It's like, no, you might be at 10 and your spouse might be at 120,
Hmm.
or you might be at 50 today. That's all you can. So I think for me, I've come to like just be more aware of when he's a bit more, I was gonna say stronger or present or,
Hmm. But and
but like,
energetic. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So even when we're talking about business, like it's okay to rest. So sometimes even in my relationship, I'm like, it's just the season, even if it's
Hmm.
for, a week, a day,
Mhm.
and being able to, like Cofia said, enjoy the good things, right? You're hyper focused on, and even in my marriage, when we take a step back from a conversation and then like it's just we're just refreshed, we have a
Hmm.
clearer perspective, so like
Mhm.
that helps. And just always like still dating each other and reconnecting, like that helps us with the marathon because yeah, you're putting deposits in during those times,
Yeah.
and because there are seasons where you're going to be tested, you can now like rely on
You have something
those
to
moments.
draw. Hmm.
Yeah, something to draw from. So
And then I
yeah.
think when you do that, if you have to quit, and even with business or anything else, I think there'll be less. You'll feel at peace with it because it's
Mhm.
like not just
Yeah.
that I tried everything, but like I gave it
Mhm.
my
My own.
sincere. Um, I went all in, and so I'm content
Yeah.
if I have to, if I'm not, right? So I think that's what it is. Because I guess my observation about relationships is I hear and see people based so much on their feelings. I'm
True.
unhappy. I'm not this. He's not that. I'm not. And that's
Mhm.
so fleeting, right? When you look back at people that's in their 80s and 90s, at least they have somebody to grow old with. They're not worrying about how they felt 40 years ago and somebody like sometimes you're not just going to feel that great. You're not going to always be happy
Right.
or you know what I'm saying? Like they're going to hurt your feelings, you're going to hurt their feelings. So I don't know the balance between how to help people understand like know themselves back to your point, Kofia. Know yourself enough to know when it's crossing a line, a point of no return for you, and when is it that
Mm-hmm.
maybe I just need to pause, maybe I need to self-reflect, maybe I
Mm-hmm.
need to, figure out if this is still worth salvaging. But I think so much is based on if it's not, if it don't feel, look at how many celebrities we have cheered on them breaking up. Like, and then they're sitting there regretting it or they get back
Mm-hmm.
with the person. We're mad at them. Like we get so invested in people, breaking up. I will never understand it. Like to
Yeah.
me, it's a sad thing. We shouldn't be cheering it on.
Divorce parties and
Yeah.
I had a friend who got divorced a few years ago, and and somebody said, "Are you gonna have a divorce party?" And she was like, "No, I like, if anything, I'm mourning that part of my life, that
Yeah.
relationship. It's unfortunate. Like, got a bunch of kids. Like, it's devastating. Like, why would I?" She was like, "I'm okay with the decision. We wish each other the
Moving
best, and
on.
I want to have a happy life, but I don't want to have a divorce party." And when you talked about celebrities breaking up, I was thinking about Kiki Palmer because they said
They pushed that girl. She's back with him.
she's back with him and she's supposed to be pregnant again, I heard. And
And
the way
everybody's
people are
mad.
dragging her, and I'm like, I don't want, I don't understand the level of investment.
Because
I
their own
just don't.
lives are in their own lives are unfulfilling,
Right,
and it
So
gives them
they're
a
sitting
dopamine
there
hit to feel like they're involved in
right.
something.
in her relationship.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, listen, I'm sure like everyone has their deal breakers and their thing that is like, okay, this is when I'm call it quits. Like that is her relationship. That's her relationship. It's
It's so
done.
much pressure. Imagine being in your marriage, your relationship, and having millions of people having a say on
Couldn't
it.
do it.
You can't
Did
tell me
not.
that that doesn't have an effect on you. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes those things can influence people's decisions,
Yeah.
without them knowing it. So I think it's great. We're privileged that we're not celebrities. We could deal with these ups and downs without, everybody
Yeah.
having a say because people will pump you up. Girl, you know your worth, man. Oh, no, no, he didn't. And it's just like, are they going to be there when you need a shoulder to cry on or you need someone to talk to? They're
Yeah.
Or
just
they
there
put
to
up with
pump
the
you
same
up.
stuff. Yeah.
What's that?
I said, or they put up with the same stuff that they was telling you to
Hmm.
be done with.
Right. That's them
Yeah.
deflecting. Like, oh, you were probably dealing with something like that, and you're telling her to do what you maybe wish you'd done. You know?
Yeah.
Because
Right.
what's
Yeah.
the Tia Mowry? Everybody was pumping
Mm.
her up, and then look, as soon as her ex husband came out in that Tyler Perry movie, everybody was salivating all over him. He's so fine. He's so this. Now
They were
before they
trashing
were
him for years.
right, he's a bum. He's nothing. Those same people will probably not hesitate to get in his inbox
Okay.
and
Mm.
try to, entice him. The ones that were telling her, girl, know your worth. You need to leave him. So
Yeah.
it's like you have to just keep so much private. Well, it's up to the person, but just be mindful of like what opinions you expose yourself to when it comes to your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
Yeah. Definitely.
Facts. Hmm. No. Interesting turn of events on this here episode.
Look, we went
We
from
had a
being
2 for 1.
so what are the takeaways? Sometimes we have to watch our level, our energy of empathy and what we're expecting from people. We have to
Hmm.
know when did we go to? We have to know rest,
Rest.
not
Hmm.
what did you say? Resting, not
And not
quitting.
quitting. Hmm.
Um, we have to have bring back commitment, and that doesn't mean withstand abuse and all that stuff. But
Hmm.
um, so what's the common theme? Is it being okay with discomfort?
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
think
being
it's
able to
also
sit in your emotions,
uh,
sitting in the negative emotions and knowing how to navigate life when you're doing that.
yeah. I was gonna say self-awareness is at the
Okay.
root of it. Yeah.
Self-awareness, sitting with
Yeah.
the whole range of emotions. And yeah. Okay. All right. So I think, look, I always like to have a happy ending. Look, the mood just, I'm that Pollyanna, I'm that, little orphan Annie is always going to be better tomorrow. So okay, so we got a roadmap for deciding when to quit and when to persevere.
Yep. Okay. Good episode, ladies.
All right.
Okay, we will see you next time. Who knows what the setup will be, right?
Who knows?
Right.
Stick along. Stay along for the ride. Bye.